Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is meteorologist Joe Rayo on Friday, the final day of July. I don't know about you, I can't believe that we've already gone right through the entire month of July, and now tomorrow begins the new month of August. It's 5 o'clock as we are recording this, 5 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time on Friday afternoon, and we're here to talk about Isaias, probably one of the most unusual names for a hurricane or tropical cyclone that I've ever had in doing this. And I've been in this business now for a long, long time. But that's the name of the storm, Itzaia. We want to give you the very latest information now coming from the National Hurricane Center down in Coral Gables, Florida, just outside Miami. The present position as of 5 o'clock this afternoon places the storm, if you want to plot it on an atlas, at 22.6 north, 75.7 west. Maximum sustained winds right now, 75 miles per hour. It's a Category 1 storm, a minimal hurricane, moving to the northwest at around 15 miles per hour. That position of 22.6 and 75.7 places it 195 miles south-southeast of Nassau in the Bahamas. And on your screen right now, you have the very latest projected track of the storm. It is expected to move again from a northwest trajectory, then make the curve more on a northerly path, skimming the east coast of Florida during the day on Sunday, and then it will begin to curve more to the north and northeast. And what is concerning about this, as you can see, and let me see if I can put up the forecast line, the track line here. There you go. To point out to you that the storm track right now, according to the Hurricane Center, and this zone here, this is the cone of uncertainty, which means that by the time we get to early next week, there could be as much as a 150 or 200-mile deviation from this track here, either to the north and west or to the south and east. But right now, if you take this at face value, the Hurricane Center is suggesting that at 2 o'clock on Tuesday, the storm is going to be a tropical storm, force winds. The storm, Itzaia, will be near Cape May, New Jersey, or maybe Atlantic City, moving north and east, and they perhaps brushing extreme eastern Long Island, maybe out toward Orient Point or Montauk, and then continuing onward so that by the time we get to, let's say late Tuesday night or early Wednesday morning, crossing through Cape Cod and interior Massachusetts, southeastern Massachusetts, on a track that would take it perhaps over toward New Brunswick or Nova Scotia by midweek next week, 2 o'clock on Wednesday. That is the latest track. According to, and let's bring up here, I'm going to show you what the storm looks like from the satellite imagery. Hang on for just a second here. There you go. Here is the very latest. In fact, let me just get a little bit of a better handle on this so that you can get a better viewpoint of it. This is the storm, Itzaia, right now, again, moving on a northwest trajectory. And according to the latest information, let me just bring that image back up again. Pardon me for my technical difficulties here. Here you go. You could see here's Puerto Rico. Here's Hispaniola. Cuba is here. The storm system now beginning to make a trek northwestward toward the Bahamas. And of course, here is Florida out in the clear at the moment. But with this storm system expecting to track near or adjacent to the east coast of Florida, this is not going to be lasting too long. The Sunshine State will not be in sunshine for too much longer as this storm system continues to track north and west. Now, the latest information from the Hurricane Center indicates deep convection. In other words, very significant thunderstorm activity, occasionally overshooting the cloud tops at 85, get this now, 85 to 90 degrees below 0 Celsius. That is very, very cold, just to the north of the center, and it has continued to develop and intensify during the course of this afternoon. Even the folks over at the Hurricane Center say that these numbers are quite impressive. The most recent Air Force Reserve Recon flight level wind data indicate that the inner core and the outer wind field have both contracted. In other words, they've gotten smaller in size. And furthermore, radar data from the Bahamas and microwave pass indicates that a small, indeed, a very small eye is beginning to form. It's probably no bigger than 8 or 10 miles across, but it is indicating that as the intensification process continues, that a mid-level eye is indeed forming. So the storm is getting stronger, and this information indicates that Itzia is getting better organized. The initial intensity is at 65 knots or 75 miles per hour, minimal hurricane strength, and the storm continues to move on a northwest trajectory. Now, we're going to show you what is concerning, or at least what is concerning not only to myself, but I'm sure other forecasters regarding this particular storm, because we do have a problem up here in the northeastern United States with the future movement and future track of this storm system. I've just brought up for you the latest information based upon the 12Z or 8 a.m. Computer guidance run of the GFS model. I'm going to just orient it a little bit better for you. And here's what is concerning. This map that you see is for the upper level winds at 500 millibars. That's at an altitude of about 18,000 feet. This is the so-called jet stream, the river of air that helps to drive weather systems across the United States, across the continent. Down here, you see what is indicated to be the hurricane, the upper level signature of the hurricane, Isaias, which by, let's say 2 o'clock Monday afternoon, which is when this map is valid for, may be right along the coastline of the Carolinas, South Carolina area. And here's what is the concerning thing about this. The upper level winds, as I said, drive the storm and move weather systems across the country and across the continent. So here is Isaias. Where possibly could that storm go? Well, we know, number one, that it cannot go out to sea to the east. Why? Because this broad area of high pressure, this is the orange area here, that indicates building high pressure system offshore, a subtropical high, a Bermuda high, if you will. In fact, right here is Bermuda. Right over here is the island of Bermuda, which is why we call it a Bermuda high. And let me just bring this back here, bring the maps a little bit so that you can see a little bit better here. So Bermuda is here. This huge high pressure ridge is here. So Isaias cannot move out over the ocean because it's being blocked effectively by this subtropical high pressure system. Okay, so Isaias says, all right, if I can't go to the east out over the ocean, then maybe I'll go to the west. No, it cannot go to the west. Why? Because we have a trough here, an upper level disturbance in the atmosphere, this big bend in the upper level winds. And that bend is saying to Isaias, no, you're not going to be able to move westward either, because we're going to tend to block you off in this pattern or this area right here. So we have this big blocking trough of upper level low pressure here. We have this big blocking high pressure system out over the ocean here. So where is Isaias going to go? The only place it can go is to squirt, if I may use that term, squirt northeastward right along the coast, right in between the two systems, right in between the subtropical Bermuda high and this trough of low pressure coming in from the west. This opening right here, this corridor that you see here, is where Isaias can go. And unfortunately for us, that means that it could squirt or move northeast right along the Atlantic seaboard and right up into our area. Remember, the Hurricane Center, basing its information on all of the various computer models, is saying the storm is going to track basically right now from off of the South Jersey coast to south and east of New York City to maybe grazing or touching eastern Long Island, and then moving on toward southeast Massachusetts and Cape Cod. That's the only real path that it can go, because again, it cannot go east, it cannot go west. It's being blocked by these two major weather systems. So this corridor is the only place that the storm can go, and that storm track, again, right along the Atlantic seaboard. Let's show you another map here. I'm going to bring up, let's see where I can bring this up. Yeah, here we go. This is the GFS map. This is for, I believe it's going to be for, yeah, This is for 0Z Tuesday. So this is for 7 o'clock in the evening, excuse me, 8 o'clock in the evening, Eastern Daylight Time on Monday evening, or 0Z Greenwich Time on for Tuesday. So 8 o'clock in the evening on Monday evening, this is what the projected track according to the GFS model has for the storm. Notice the storm is down here at that hour. The projected position would be down over North Carolina, eastern North Carolina. The storm is inland. The storm, according to the GFS, is going to be inland from the Atlantic Ocean by approximately, I would say, 100 to 150 miles. So it's an inland storm. It likely will not have hurricane strength, but it could very well be a very strong tropical system. Now, let's move everything along here on the track, as I said, because of that big high offshore and because of that upper level disturbance to the west. The only place that this storm can go or can track is to the north and to the east. So now let's move things along here. Here we go. Now this is 2 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. According to the GFS, the storm by then will be in the Delmarva Peninsula area, the Virginia Capes. And the storm will again continue moving north and east. And there you go. 8 a.m. on Tuesday, the GFS is projecting the storm to be pretty much off of the central Jersey coast and maybe a stone's throw, maybe 50 to 75 miles south of western Long Island. Here's New York City. Again, this is the projected path according to the GFS at 8 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. Then after that, and notice, if you will, this area of yellow and orange, that is moderate to heavy to possibly even torrential rain, which at this moment in time, if the storm is indeed there, would be enveloping much of Long Island, most of central and south Jersey, New York City, a little bit lighter amount of rain falling to the north and west up into the Hudson Valley and northwestern sections of New Jersey. Now let's move it along a little bit more. Now we're at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Notice it's really moving. I mean, my goodness, this storm probably by this time would be moving, according to the GFS, 20 or maybe even 30 miles an hour, so that by the time we get to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the storm is located pretty much just to the south of Boston, just to the south of Beantown. The storm system still relatively strong. And then by 8 o'clock in the evening, the storm is in the Gulf of Maine, making a move on Nova Scotia and possibly New Brunswick, more like Nova Scotia, but it will be out of our area. And the assumption is that by that time, any heavy rain or gusty winds will be long over with. So if you go by this, by the GFS model, the time frame to watch would be within a few hours of 8 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday of next week. But we have a problem. And the problem is in terms of timing, not so much in terms of the track of the storm, but the timing of the storm. What I've just brought up on your screen now is the European model. And this is where the European has the storm at 8 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. Remember what I just pointed out to you. The GFS at 8 o'clock on Tuesday morning has the storm pretty well right in our backyard, just off central New Jersey, just south of Nassau County, only 50 or 75 miles south of New York City. So that's where the GFS has the storm on Tuesday morning. And you're saying to yourself, okay, this is the European. Where's the storm? Well, the storm, according to the European on Tuesday morning, is, let me move things up a little bit. There it is, right there. Can you see it? In central North Carolina. What a difference. Central North Carolina, according to the European, at 8 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. And yet, at the same time, the GFS has the storm hundreds of miles to the north and east up in our area. Well, if that's where the storm is at 8 o'clock in the morning, according to the GFS on Tuesday, where does it have it on Wednesday? Look at that. On Wednesday morning, by that time, the GFS has the storm well out to sea, well away to the north and east. But on Wednesday morning, the European model has the storm near the Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island border in south central New England, which would seem to indicate, if you follow the European model, that the storm will be tracking, well, let's see, if it was down here, the storm would track almost directly over the New York City metropolitan area in the wee hours of the morning on Wednesday. So, according to the European, the time frame to watch is not Tuesday morning, it's early Wednesday morning. And you say to yourself, well, who are we going to believe? What model is going to be right? There, that's the rub. That is the question. And that plus other models which are saying, projecting the track of this storm in their own way, makes it rather difficult for us to say with any certainty or surety. Now, remember, this is Friday now. We're talking about 3 to 4 days out. And the storm's still, intensifying down near the Bahamas. So a lot of things are going to have to fall into place here for us to get all of the models to get on the same page, so to speak. So we probably will not know in terms of timing and in terms of an exact path for maybe another day or so where this storm Itzai is going. But again, I just wanted to stress to you how dramatic the difference is between the two best mid to long range models, the European and the GFS. Both of these models projecting basically the same thing, a northeast trajectory in the general vicinity of New York City, but the timing about 24-hour difference between the GFS and the European running about 24 hours slower, more like maybe 20 to 22 hours slower than what the GFS is indicating. So that's one of the things that we're going to have to iron out. And also the European seems to be tracking the storm a little bit more inland to the west, which is not good news for us here in the New York metropolitan area. The last thing we need is a major tropical cyclone to pass directly over us. But we will see how things fall into place again over the next day or so. Hopefully things will be getting more accurate in terms of the projection of the path in the next couple of days. This is the ensemble, the GFS ensemble. What I showed you earlier was what we call the operational model of the GFS, but the GFS is composed of about 21 different members, all of which are projecting their own way how to track this storm and where the storm is projected to go. Now, interestingly, based upon the GFS ensemble, we have the storm system pretty well in the same path and the same time frame as the European model. In other words, here's the position at 120 hours. That's Wednesday morning. Here we go. Let's make sure that I'm correct here. Wednesday afternoon, I should say. This is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So yeah, Wednesday at 2 p.m., the ensemble of the GFS has the storm passing very close to the New York City metropolitan area. So that's a little bit different than what the European. The European has it coming our way maybe in the pre-dawn hours of Wednesday, and the operational model of the GFS has it coming our way first thing on Tuesday morning. So again, timing is the big issue. And again, the track. I don't like the looks of this because the storm track here, based upon the ensemble models, are pretty well placing it, again, more to the west and a lot closer to New York than what the operational model of GFS has, and more in line with what the European model is suggesting. I want to go back to that official track from the National Hurricane Center. Again, they have it at 2 o'clock on Monday afternoon off of the coast of South Carolina. Here's where it's expected to be at 2 p.m. on Tuesday, somewhere just off the coast of South Jersey, very close to Cape May or Atlantic City. And then that track during the afternoon hours on Tuesday past us, I would say, again, maybe about 75 miles southeast of New York City, and then maybe touching eastern Long Island, heading toward southeastern Massachusetts and Cape Cod, and then by Wednesday afternoon up here in the vicinity of New Brunswick or Nova Scotia. Now, last night, I did a little bit of research. I looked for hurricane tracks that have occurred in the past that are similar, not exact, but similar to what you're seeing here on the screen, a track that takes it from the Bahamas up along the east coast of Florida, along the Atlantic seaboard, and rather close to the New York metropolitan area. I found 8 different tropical cyclones dating back to the 1940s. 1944 was the first. The last one was 2010. And then after I found these 8 storms, I looked at the newspaper clippings from the New York Times in the aftermath of each one of these storms to see what was the general commentary. What did we experience during those storms? It should give us a good idea of what we may see here come next week, say Tuesday and or Wednesday. One of the storms, the 1944 storm, which was referred to in weather annals as the Great Hurricane, the New York Times wrote, lashed by drenching rain, turning into sheets of spray, gusts of wind of gale force. There was a tropical system, Hurricane Barbara, in 1953, which passed close to the tri-state area. The New York Times described it as driving rain, a churning storm, gale winds. 1954, not one but two storms that year that affected us. One on August 31st, 1954, producing a pelting rain, gusts to 45 to 50 miles per hour. Shore communities hit hard. The other storm in 1954 came only 10 days later, on September the 10th. They described that one as torrential rain, 5 inches of rain in only one day. That was the greatest total at that time of rainfall in a single day, 5 inches, going back to 1909, and winds gusted to 57 miles per hour. This doesn't sound too good, does it? 1960, that was Hurricane Donna, 5 inches of rain, 90 mile per hour winds, floods, and then in 1991, a storm that came on by knocked out power in many locations on Long Island and in the Hudson Valley. So what we're saying here, folks, is this. We are facing the potential of a nasty storm, which could bring strong gusty winds, damaging winds, flooding rains, the potential for power outages. If you're near the shore areas, watch out because there could be some coastal flooding, some beach erosion. OPS, you want to talk about bad timing, Monday is a full moon. And the worst tidal effects from a full moon is not on the night or day of the full moon, but usually a day or two later. Well, what are we talking about here? We're talking about Tuesday or Wednesday, the day or two after the full moon. This is a nasty system. And what worries me also is that because of all that has happened so far with the coronavirus and with other things that are happening in the world, that most people are not focused right now on this storm, Hurricane Isaias, and what it may do to our tri-state area early next week. So what I want to stress to all of you right now is, and it's still 3 or 4 days away, and things can still change, and hopefully in future computer runs, the storm will be taking more of a eastern trajectory away from the coastline and away from us, and hopefully we'll be able to nail the timing down as well. The best we're able to do right now, and the best the Hurricane Center is able to say right now, is it's going to be sometime during Tuesday, mainly later Tuesday and into Tuesday night, that this storm is going to be doing a number on our area. Again, things can change. We're going to be watching this carefully for you over the course of the next few days, right here on my Joe Rayo Weather channel. And if you are not already a subscriber here at Joe Rayo Weather on YouTube, please subscribe. It does not cost you anything. We try to keep you abreast of significant meteorological and astronomical situations. And indeed, this certainly looks like a significant meteorological situation that's coming up for our area for the early part of next week. Right now, we have about 860 some odd subscribers to my Joe Rayo Weather channel on YouTube. I'm trying to get to 1,000. 1,000 is the magic number, and this way we can add sponsors and work out things a little bit better. But right now, we're below that 1,000. We're shooting for 1,000. If you're already a subscriber, thank you. If you are not a subscriber, please subscribe. And if you are a subscriber, tell your family, tell your friends, because this channel, the Joe Rayo Weather YouTube channel, is going to be a place that you will want to tune into, not just today, but tomorrow, Sunday, and of course, Monday, and especially maybe Tuesday of next week, as Isaias moves slowly but surely up the coast. Now, I'm just going to close the shutter on my camera for the moment. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to turn the camera around a little bit. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place myself here on camera. Let's see if I can do that. There I am. And also, I'm going to check out now the chat board and see if any of you have any specific questions concerning Isaias and its effects on our area. I might also point out that overall, the weather for the next couple of days is going to be lovely around here. We're going to have, we had a fairly nice day today. Places from New York City on south had a lot more cloud cover than I'm sure you would have liked to have seen, but at least the temperatures were held down by that cloud cover. Tonight, the humidities are going to drop off just a tad. Temperatures are going to be mostly across the region, I think, in the 60s across the Hudson Valley, about 70 or so in urban areas like New York City. Well outside the city limits, outlying areas could be in the upper 50s by daybreak. Dare I say you might want to turn your air conditioning off and maybe open your window for a little bit. Tomorrow, by the standards of most summer days, kind of a humid day, but nothing to compare to what we've been through in the last week or two. So tomorrow, a warm day, somewhat humid day, but a nice day with sunshine giving way to afternoon clouds. Then I'm sorry to say, Saturday night, we're going to have a warm front approach, meaning a buildup of clouds and a rise in the humidity. And Sunday will be a much more humid day. You will definitely notice it when you step outside on Sunday as opposed to what you're going to see or feel tomorrow. Also, Sunday will be a cloudier day. And also, Sunday will have a threat because of the location of that warm front nearby of showers and storms. Some of those storms could be nasty during the day on Sunday. So if you're planning anything out of doors this weekend, you want to go someplace around the region this weekend, and I'm trying to figure out which is going to be the better day to do any traveling or just to be outside, by all means, Saturday is going to be the better of the two weekend days. Sunday will be cloudier, a lot more humid, and also a threat on Sunday of showers and scattered thunderstorms. Let me check out the chat board here and see what we have as far as questions on the chat board. We have folks like Dennis Cassia. Dennis says it's good to be number one on the chat board. That you are, Dennis. That you are. We have Alaska Railroad. Shelly Man Studios is on. Ryan Ford says, I'm going down to Seaside Park tomorrow and staying until the following Saturday. Should I be concerned? Ryan, if you're near the water, Seaside Park is a waterfront community. You do have something to be concerned about because I'm sure that with the impending storm Tuesday or Wednesday, and again, as I mentioned, the astronomical alignment, the moon full on Monday, meaning that tides are going to run way above normal Tuesday into Wednesday. There likely will be coastal flooding. There likely is going to be some form of beach erosion as well. So that's what we'll be looking at on Tuesday, Wednesday. So at least you'll have a box seat, Ryan, to all the action that's going on along the waterfront and out over the ocean as the storm moves on by. Shelly Man Studio says, feel good today. No AC needed. I don't remember exactly where you're located, Shelly Man, but you must be located either in an elevated terrain where higher terrain up, it's not quite as hot or as sticky. Let's see, what do we have here? NOAA Weather Hurricane Watch warning, National Hurricane Center. I'm not sure what that is. Somebody is on and sending me all kinds of stuff about weather alerts and CNN and Fox News or whatever. But anyway, we have Paula McLennan on the line. Sounds tough. Yes, Paula. And again, Paula and everybody, the thing that really bothers me is the fact that, again, this is being eclipsed. This is going to be a major story early next week in our area. And the last thing I'm sure a lot of you don't want to see is flooding. The last thing I'm sure a lot of you don't want to see are trees and power lines coming down, being without power for maybe a day or two or maybe longer. The potential for something like that is there with this storm, Itza-Iya, again, Tuesday into Wednesday. And again, not many people are talking about this now. Talk about it. Get ready. Spread the word. And tell them again about Joe Rayo Weather on YouTube, because this is going to be something that's going to be becoming increasingly important in the news for our area as we get into the weekend and especially the early part of next week. Paula McLennan says, I saw kids in the Florida ocean this morning boogie boarding. Well, you know, in Florida right now, what they're probably experiencing are maybe the swells that are emanating out of the storm. Remember, the storm system right now, as I mentioned, is about 195 miles southeast of Nassau in the Bahamas. So they're just getting sea swells right now. But the waves are going to get a lot rougher, I think, down in Florida over the next 24 to 48 hours. Let's see who else we have. We have Rush La Chaparral. Yeah, my timing was great again. Uh, let's see what else. Paula, cut branches by power lines now. Yeah, that would be a good point. And what else? Bridgeport, Ryan Ford, Bridgeport. Bridgeport is not an ocean coastal area, but I'm sure that Long Island Sound too is going to get roughed up by the passage of this storm, and they'll probably be along the sound shore of Long Island and along the sound shoreline of Connecticut. There probably will be its own fair share of coastal flooding and beach erosion at the time of especially local high tides Tuesday on into Wednesday as Itza approaches. So once again, bundling it all into a nutshell, we have a storm that potentially is on its way for Tuesday into Wednesday. Timing still uncertain. Path still uncertain. Potential is there for a nasty bit of weather concerning wind, concerning heavy rainfall, the potential of trees and power lines coming down, the potential for coastal flooding, the potential for beach erosion, all of that wound up in the track of this storm, which right now, again, is down near the Bahamas, but ultimately will take a track beginning Sunday on into early next week, up through and along the Atlantic seaboard and affecting us adversely, to say the least, with all kinds of nasty weather conditions. Let's see if there's anybody else here. Somebody, one of our chat board people here, Picula 00 or double naught, if you will, Northern Westchester. Well, Northern Westchester is going to be in line for wet weather, but obviously, the further inland you go, the odds of experiencing, bad weather will be less. But that's assuming that the storm stays offshore, stays away from inland locations. As I pointed out, if we see a trend more toward the west and more inland, then even the Hudson Valley will be getting more and more of a threat from this storm as opposed to coastal sections. Again, we're still 3 to 4 days out. We still have a lot of things to iron out before we can get more precise. Rush La Chaparral says, Mr. Rayo, how about your opinion on the government admittance regarding UFOs? I'm not going to get into UFOs. This has nothing to do. My talk right now is about weather and meteorology, Russ. I'm not getting into any astronomical or potential aeronautical information concerning what the government thinks about in terms of unidentified flying objects. I will say, in terms of astronomical sites, and Dennis, I know you are very much as much as an assiduous amateur astronomer as I am, Dennis Cassia, who is in Monroe, Connecticut. Tonight, skies look like they're going to be clear. Bring out your binoculars and try to see the comet. The comet is now no longer visible to the unaided eye, but I direct your attention to the fact that tonight there's a little star cluster called Coma Berenices, or Bernice's hair. It almost looks like a smaller and dimmer version of the Pleiades star cluster. Well, guess what? The comet is going to be passing right by that star cluster during the evening hours tonight. So if you know your constellations, if you know astronomy, and can find Coma Berenices, I think it's below and to the left of the Big Dipper. Keep using that Big Dipper as a benchmark for you to find the comet. Below and to the left of the Big Dipper, there's this little star cluster called Coma Berenices. If you can find Coma Berenices with binoculars, that is where the comet is going to be as well. Again, much dimmer now. It's moved away from the sun and the earth, and not as great as it was a couple of weeks ago, but it's still out there. And if you have good binoculars, you'll be able to look for it. Take advantage of it, because tonight's going to be clear. Tomorrow, a nice day. More humid, tropical-like, with scattered showers and storms on Sunday, and possibly a thunderstorm on Monday. Then again, Tuesday and Wednesday, all bets are off. We'll see where Itza goes. And again, tell everybody about the Joe Rayo Weather Channel on YouTube. Tune in here. We'll be here tomorrow, of course, Sunday and Monday as well. And hey, all of you Joe and Joe fans, are you going to be with Joe and Joe tonight on the Joe Chiappi YouTube channel? We'll be on with Joe and Joe tonight. We'll be on with Joe and Joe probably as we always are on Sunday morning, and also especially early next week. It's going to be very active. We're going to be talking a lot about weather and about the storm in the days to come. Thank you very much. How long have we gone? We've gone 34 minutes and 48 seconds. And if you haven't had enough in terms of weather and enough information about the hurricane, just go back and look at it again, and we'll again keep you updated in the days to come. Thank you very much for all of you who are watching this afternoon. David Schwartz says he didn't get the notification. David, I'm not sure why some people don't get their notifications, even though you're a subscriber. Maybe when we hit 1,000, then they'll treat us with a little bit more respect, and maybe then everybody will be getting notifications on schedule or on time. I have no control of it. If you have any problems, complain to YouTube about it. But anyway, we'll be back with you again later this evening on Joe and Joe, and again through the weekend and early next week, right here on YouTube on the Joe Rayo Weather Channel. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. Adios au reservoir.